welcome to our channel. Today we are going to be going over Formula One 2022 season predictions.
We're going to talk about the driver standings, the constructor standings, and then we'll go over some superlatives like driver of the year, flop of the year, and then race of the year.
So if you are excited to learn some of our opinions that you didn't ask for, stay tuned to the end of the video.
And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more content. All right, starting with the driver standings. In P20, I have Nikita Mazepin. I think that he's going to underachieve, and I'm going to predict that this will be his last season in Formula One.
That is a big statement. I have a little place in my heart for a underdog, and clearly he is one, so I put him as P19. I'm hoping that he'll at least out-qualify somebody in season 2022 and gave him a little slight glimpse of hope in my standings.
All right, in P19, I have Nicholas Latifi. I don't think Williams is gonna really change their trajectory that much. I think they'll still be in the bottom tier, and I think Nicholas again will be outperformed by his teammate.
I have Nicholas Latifi in P18. I am on the same sentiment as Chris.
All right. In P18, I have Guan Yu Zhou. I think his rookiness is going to show. I think he'll probably not do that great, and I think Valtteri Bottas is probably going to outperform him.
But you do have him at P18, whereas I have him at P20. I think he's going to be at the bottom of the pack. I don't think he's going to be doing that well. He has no luck on his side. He's a brand new driver, and he's not the favorite driver for his team. And Alfa Romeo is not that great, or that's not what I'm expecting it to be. So I'm at P20. You're giving him a little bit more hope. P18.
In P17, I have Mick Schumacher. I think that he's again going to outperform his teammate, Nikita Mazepin. I still don't think he's going to have a car that's really going to get him anywhere, so I think he'll do as best he can in P17.
Same wavelength, P17 for me.
In P16, I have Valtteri Bottas. I think, although he's a great driver, and I think he'll make the most of his new car at Alfa Romeo, I think it's only going to go so far.
So I have Valtteri actually in P12. I think he is going to do well, or at least I really want him to. I guess my standings are more of like hopeful standings. I really want the people that I like to do well, and I think Bottas needs his time in the limelight. I mean, clearly he's been in the limelight, but he's been overshadowed by a teammate. So this year, I think he won't be.
In P15, I have Alex Albon. I think that Williams is going to give him not a great car, and I think he'll make the most of it, but I think P15 is about where he'll fall.
Same here.
In P14, I have Yuki Tsunoda. I think that Yuki is going to really underachieve, and I'm predicting that he is going to be out of a seat by mid-season, and I'll even say Liam Lawson gets a seat this year.
Whoa, okay, so Yuki's out on his end. On the other hand, I think he did pretty well last year. I think he kept getting better and better at the end of the season, and I think another year will help him do just as good, if not better. So I think he's going to be in P11, and hoping he doesn't get cut out halfway through the season. But we'll see who's right on that one.
In P13, I have Sebastian Vettel. I think Aston Martin's going to be kind of on the back foot this year. I think they're going to probably do well here in the next couple of years. I think that COVID kind of hit the team kind of hard, so I think Sebastian Vettel is going to underperform with a mediocre car.
Okay, I think Sebastian is going to do even worse than you. I think he is running out of luck, or he's like at the end of his glory days. I think he's old. He's been there for a really long time, and he just doesn't have the motivation that these younger drivers have, and he's in a car that is not yet ready to be top performing. So I have him at P16.
Do you know where he is, by the way? I think retirement's calling.
Good.
Anyways. Okay. In P12, I have Pierre Gasly. I think that he's always performed pretty well at AlphaTauri, but I think that they're not going to have a great car this year, and I think that he's going to be a victim of an unreliable car this year, and P12 is where it'll fall.
I think he did really well last year. I think he was really proving himself, overperformed, and I think all of these Red Bull teammates or like past Red Bull teammates are trying to prove themselves, and I think he's going to continue down that path. So I have him at P9.
All right, in P11, I have Lance Stroll. I think that, again, kind of like Sebastian Vettel, they're not going to have an incredible car this year, but I think he'll make the most of it and score some points somewhat regularly, and he'll fall around P11.
Yeah, I am like similar wavelength, but I just think Aston Martin's going to be a little bit further down the pack, but P14 for me.
In P10, I have Fernando Alonso. I think that he's going to have another good year. I think he'll probably do more or less the same as he did last year. Maybe another podium, maybe 2 podiums for the year, but I think P10 is probably about as good as he'll do.
I, on the other hand, am putting these old timers down at the bottom. I think it's time for the younger generation. And so, put Fernando at 13th.
What if they're not ready for the younger generation?
Who's they?
I don't know. Okay.
I'm ready for the younger generation, so that's all that matters.
All right. In P9, I have Sergio Perez. It's going to come as a shock probably to everyone, including me, but I think Red Bull put all their eggs into one basket last year, and I think they might be kind of on the back foot a little bit. This is funny knowing where she put him, but yeah, I'm not necessarily expecting a fantastic year out of Red Bull.
I understand the logic. Like, it makes sense, like they're putting all their effort into getting that World Championship title this year, 2021, but I'm in love with Sergio Perez. I'm not in love with him. He's by far my favorite driver. I love his story, so I put him biasly at number 1.
So the champion of 2022.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Sergio Perez.
All right. In P8, I put Esteban Ocon. I think that he's going to do a little better than last year. I think he'll finally beat his teammate in Fernando Alonso. I think Alpine's going to really set a good tone for next year in 2022, and I think that they're only going to get better. So I think P8's a good spot, and I think they're going to keep improving.
I put him at P10, similar like spot above Fernando. He's gonna be getting points, but I'm putting him a little bit lower.
In P7, I put Carlos Sainz. I think Carlos, although last year he beat Charles Leclerc in points, finished P5 in the standings, I think Ferrari's going to have a really good car next year, and Carlos was pretty drastically outperformed by Charles throughout the year. I think Charles got kind of unlucky, and Carlos was just a lot more consistent in bringing home the points, which consistency is not a bad thing, but I think Charles is probably going to continue to outperform him this year and take home the majority of the points.
I disagree. That's the great thing about this, because so many people disagree on so many things. So there can be millions of different standings clearly. So I put Carlos in second because I think the consistency is key, and I also think that the competitiveness of both of them being on Ferrari is good for them, and clearly Carlos was doing better at the competitiveness this past year, so I think he's going to do even better in 2022.
In P6, I have Max Verstappen. This isn't to say that he's a bad driver or that I don't think that he's going to continue to win championships. Again, I just think Red Bull, they put everything they could in 2021 to getting Max that first world title. And they might be a little bit behind on development. Not necessarily sure that that's going to play out how I think it will, but I'm gonna make the bold prediction that Max is gonna finish P6 in the driver's standings.
I understand. Like, I agree with the whole Red Bull logic, but I put Max at 4 because of that. Just like bias for pros. For chicken, so don't at me.
Okay. It's a good thing that you're not in broadcasting or a media person.
Why?
Because you're so biased. All right. In P5, I have George Russell. I think George is a fantastic driver, but I'm not necessarily too sure that he's going to come in right away and claim what Lewis has built over the past 8 years at Mercedes. I think that he's going to do well. I think he'll be on the podium many times, get many wins, and he'll be fighting for the championship. I just think that he's going to be learning a whole new car, a whole new era. I just think there's going to be a lot for him to learn, and I think P5 for this year.
Yeah, I put him at P7. I think he will do well. I'm kind of keep adding the Red Bull logic to the Mercedes logic. With the new regulations and everything, I'm assuming that Mercedes is going to have a harder time. But then again, who knows? But I put George Russell at 7.
In P4, I have Daniel Ricciardo. I think in his second year at McLaren, he's going to have his feet under him a little bit better. I think that he's going to perform with a much better car. They're going to have that Mercedes engine, and I think that they have been making bigger steps every year kind of since, I guess, Fernando left the team, and it's been since basically Lando and Carlos were teammates. I think that they've kind of progressed ever since, and I think they're going to have a much better car, and I think Daniel will make the most of a good car, but I don't think he's going to be his teammate this year.
Okay, well, I put him at 8th. I thought last year he was like, I don't know. I mean, clearly he got a podium.
He was disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing. So he's kind of fallen off my radar, but I'm at P8.
Okay. In P3, I have Lewis Hamilton. I think Lewis, again, he's going to show why he's one of the best to ever do it. But I don't think Mercedes is really going to have the best car on the grid this year. Not that Mercedes isn't going to develop a great car. I just think Ferrari and McLaren in particular are really going to have put a lot of effort into 2022 with these new regulations, and they're going to make the most of it. So I think Lewis will fight hard, and he'll be close throughout, but I think P3 for Lewis.
I put him at P5. So he still has gotten beaten by Max. Go Red Bull. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
All right. In P2, I have Charles Leclerc. I think Charles is Ferrari's future. I think that between Charles, Lando, Max, I think they are the future of Formula One. Even George Russell, I think they're going to be the ones fighting for world championships over the next 10, 15 years. And I think Charles is going to have a much better car. I think he's going to be consistently fighting at the top for race wins. And I think he's going to fall just short this year. But that doesn't mean in the future he's not going to be a multi-time world champion.
I put Charles at P6. Again, I think Carlos is going to outperform him, but I still think Ferrari will do well.
So you think you value consistency over potential, it seems like.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2022 Formula One world champion will be Lando Norris. I think Lando is one of the future stars of Formula One, really. I think that he is going to be in a tough battle between Charles and Lewis Hamilton. But I think his potential is going to show through when it counts in the final stages of 2022, and I think that he will claim his first world championship.
Wow. I have him at 3rd because I feel like he will perform really well. but just not as good as Checo.
And now moving on to the constructors standings. Starting in P10, I'm gonna have Haas. Not much else to say about that.
Same.
And in P9, I have Alfa Romeo. I'm not very confident in Alfa Romeo. I hope they surprise me. I would love to see Valtteri do well, but yeah.
I have them in 8, still down at the bottom, but.
And in 8th for me, I have Williams. I think that they're moving on up, and they're getting better, but I still don't necessarily think that they're going to make that big of a jump this year.
Yeah, I have them in 9. I think I want them to do better, but you are limited when you're in the lower sections.
And as Americans, we'd love to see Logan Sargent eventually come in, be an American driver in Williams. I hope that happens, but we'll see. All right, in P7, I have AlphaTauri. Again, I think they're kind of in line with Red Bull. I think if Red Bull is not going to do this great, I don't think you can expect AlphaTauri to do that much better. So I think they're going to fall around 7th, but could be surprised.
Yeah, I have them in P5. I think they have a fighter spirit, so I gave them a little bit of help there.
And in P6, I have Aston Martin. I think that they're going to make a little bit of an improvement this year. I think they're only going to get better over the next couple years. Would not be surprised to see them win a couple championships coming up, but yeah, P6.
I have them at P7. Yep, staying like same level. Hopefully they are going to go up over the years, but this year I don't think it's going to be their year.
And in 5th, I have Alpine. I think that they're going to be about just as consistent as last year, and I don't think they'll get worse. I don't think they'll necessarily be that much better, but P5.
Same logic, but have them at P6.
And in P4, I have Red Bull. I think it's going to be a little bit of a disappointing year for them. I think that they'll probably get right back on it in the next couple of years, but I think they just put way too much effort into getting Max a championship last year.
Yeah, I have them at first, so opinion's an opinion. I'm just kidding. Go check out.
All right, in P3, I have Mercedes. I think that they will still have a great car. I think they'll still be fighting for race wins, but I just think Ferrari and McLaren are going to be one step ahead of them.
Yeah, I have Mercedes in P4. Agree, I think Ferrari and McLaren will be one step ahead, but also Red Bull.
And in P2, I have Ferrari. I think Charles is probably going to be gaining the majority of the points, but I think with Carlos's consistency, I think that they will make it a close fight with McLaren, and it could come down to the final race to claim that Constructors championship, but I have Ferrari coming out just behind.
I have Ferrari ahead of McLaren. I think their competitive teammates is really going to help them and get them higher up on the scoring board.
And the 2022 Constructors World Champion, I have McLaren. I just think they're due for success again. I think that they've shown a lot of improvement in the past 3 years, and I think with these new regulations, it kind of helps level the playing field a little bit, and I think that they are going to make the most of it, and they're going to win.
Well, let's see. We got McLaren or Red Bull. Who shall it be?
Let us know. And now some superlatives. We're going to start out with Team of the Year. And Team of the Year for me is going to be McLaren. It's kind of easy to say when I have them winning the whole thing, but I just think over the past couple of years, after really not being great and not being what they used to be, I think they're going to make a huge jump this year, and they're going to be the Team of the Year.
Who do you think I'm going to say? Gotcha, because I'm going to say Ferrari.
Wow.
Who'd have thunk?
Didn't see that coming.
No, I know. I'm here to blow your minds, people. Yeah, Ferrari, I think that competitive spirit is really good for them, and I think they're really going to show us what they got again this year in 2022.
And Driver of the Year, it's your 2022 World Champion, Lando Norris. I think he's going to blow expectations out of the water. I think he's going to come out guns a-blazing, and he is going to take the championship by storm.
I have your true world champion, Checo, as my driver of the year, so that's what it is.
All right, our flop of the year, or disappointment of the year, whatever bad, negative connotation you want to put to it. I have Yuki Tsunoda. I don't believe in Yuki. I want to, I just don't. I think he's got a lot of potential, but he didn't really show me a lot to believe that he is the next star in Formula One. I think he's going to have a disappointing year, as do a lot of Red Bull juniors. I just don't think it's his time, and I hope I'm wrong about that, but yeah, I have Yuki kind of being a disappointment this year.
Yeah, I think mine is fairly controversial. I have George Russell as my flop of the year, mainly because he has been nonstop talked up for the past few years, and he's finally getting his chance, and he's gonna have all this pressure on him and all this blah blah blah, and I just don't think he's gonna be what everybody thinks he's gonna be this year. Maybe in the future he will, but I think this year it's not gonna work in his favor.
I think it's a safe pick because I think coming into Mercedes, everyone's just expecting him to pretty much run away with it, fight Lewis Hamilton, and I think, even if he doesn't beat Lewis Hamilton but still has a decent year, I think it's going to be a disappointment to a lot of people. So It's probably a safe pick.
That's true. That's true.
All right, and my surprise of the year, it's going to be Red Bull. I just think, again, I wouldn't say this is my most confident part of my predictions that Red Bull's going to struggle, but I just think they seem to have put a lot of effort into getting Max that title this year, and I'm just wondering how much that hurt them in their development for 2022. I hope I'm wrong. I like watching Red Bull have success. But yeah, I'm predicting that they are the surprise of the season in a negative way.
So I am thinking of surprise of the year as literally anything and everything. It could be like him doing a cartwheel on a track or something. I don't know. Something that really blows my mind would not be a cartwheel, but I think the surprise of the year will come from Lando Norris. TBD.
I'll agree. And my race of the year, I think this is a fun one. It's really hard to predict. We really don't know. But I have Japan over at Suzuka. I hope it happens. I mean, there's no guarantee that with COVID that they're going to still make it to Suzuka, but I think it makes for awesome racing, and with this new era of Formula One, I'm hoping that the cars can follow closer, and that there's I'm thinking that there might be some overtaking spots on Suzuka that we haven't seen for a couple years, and I'm expecting an exciting race, a lot of hype, and yeah, I'm hoping it happens.
I love it. I love Japón, so let's do it. My race of the year is Miami. I'm excited for the new track and it being in the US, and I'm really excited for all the culture that's going to be coming from it. So mine's not necessarily for overtaking everything, because we never raced there, so we don't necessarily know. But I think it'll be a really fun new experience for F1 in general.
I think you're big on atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it probably will not disappoint. So. That concludes our 2022 predictions for Formula One. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't give us too much of a hard time. And stay tuned for more content.
See you later!